Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's lesson overview for Sunday, December the 11th. We are leaving Genesis, moving into Exodus now, and of course that means we're going to be talking about Moses. So we're going to be starting off here in Exodus chapter 3 and chapter 6, looking at the burning bush incident and what God is calling Moses to do. We're talking about leading when you feel inadequate. We're trying to get across the truth that Moses was God's answer to the prayers of his people and the fulfillment of God's promise. One of the things we look at here in this text is we're talking about this issue of leadership and Moses being this key figure, this leader to bring God's people out of Egypt. We may ask ourselves, why leadership? Why a lesson on leadership? Because after all, most of the people that we have in our classes are not officially in positions of leadership, either at work or at church. They work underneath leadership. So why talk about leadership? There may be a little bit of a disconnect here. Isn't this more for managers and people that supervise on the workplace, or committee members, or deacons, or church staff members? Really, this has a lot to do with everybody. When we're talking about leadership, we're not just talking about those that are in positions of power, or those who make the decisions. We're talking about this whole aspect of what a leader is. We're talking about the aspect of how that fits into our relationship with God, because it's not just the official leadership where there's a title attached to it and a job description, but it's the everyday activities we do when we're talking about leadership. So this lesson really has more to do with the God who leads rather than what we are led necessarily to do. There are lots of things that God is leading us to do, and we want to develop a mentality as we study Scripture that we are God-focused rather than task-focused. And that was Moses' problem. He was focused on the task, and it kind of freaked him out. And God wanted to reiterate to him that it's not what I'm leading you to do, but it's the fact that I'm the one who is doing the leading. And we see there in Exodus 3:12 where he puts out there that I have sent you, and that I am sending you on this. And so that's the whole point. It's not that you're going to be before Pharaoh having to talk to him. Don't focus on the task, Moses. Focus on the fact that I am the one who is sending you to do this. And so that's why we want to have this lesson on leadership. Leadership is something that is big right now, where we're very focused on our culture on leadership, both in the political and in the business sector. We want good leadership that is going to make good decisions that are best for everybody. And there's a lot about debate about what makes a good leader and what are those good decisions. And here in Scripture, we're going to be looking at basically what makes a good leader is somebody who is following the will of God and who is trusting the God who leads, rather than who is so focused on the task that they have been led to do. One question I want you as teachers to challenge your class with is, are you God's answer to prayer? Our biblical truth deals with the fact that Moses was the answer to the Israelites' prayer. And does that apply to you? Are you the answer to someone's prayer? Who are the afflicted and the oppressed in your life? Who do you know that is suffering and is needing deliverance, that is crying out to God or perhaps other means for deliverance? They're needing somebody to come and intervene in their life and to show them the way in which they can be set free from maybe the pain, the guilt, the things that they are suffering with. And is God calling you to take the lead as His ambassador to meet a need in someone's life? Is there somebody at work? Is there somebody in your family? Is there a friend, or is there a neighbor that it's been on your heart, been on your mind for a long time, and you don't know it, but they've been crying out, perhaps to God, perhaps not, but they've been crying out for help, and God has heard that, and He has pressed upon your heart to do something about that. To go over there and to trust God, the one who is leading you, to go in and show where that deliverance comes through a relationship with Jesus Christ. It may not be the answer that they thought that they needed, someone to come in and just fix their problems for them. But what they need may be the ability to let go of the anxiety, let go of the worry and the guilt that they're feeling and the suffering they're going through, and embrace Jesus as someone who ultimately will deliver them from their sins, and because of His work on the cross, can handle in their lives any situation, no matter how good or bad it may seem. And you can be the one that can lead them to that relationship. So, are you God's answer to prayers? So as you're preparing your lesson, teachers, don't hesitate to let me know any questions you may have about the text or about how we can apply this to the lives of our classes. You can reach me by email or Facebook. As always, I am praying for you, and God willing, I look forward to seeing you this Sunday morning.